Chapter 23, The Giants 1. Jotunheim, the land of the giants. In the rich tapestry of Norse mythology, Jotunheim stands out as one of the 9 realms, the rugged and hostile home of the j.r.r, or giants. These beings, also known as the Jotuns, embody the primal forces of nature and chaos, often standing in opposition to the gods of Asgard. Jotunheim is a land of stark contrasts, a place where the untamed wilderness reflects the formidable and often antagonistic nature of its inhabitants. The geography and nature of Jotunheim. Jotunheim, also known as Jotunheimr, is depicted as a wild and treacherous land lying at the fringes of the cosmos, separated from Asgard by the vast and impassable river Ifing. The Prose Edda by Snorri Sturluson provides vivid descriptions of this realm, characterized by its harsh, rugged landscapes and inhospitable conditions. Here, towering mountains rise against the sky and deep, shadowy forests stretch endlessly, creating a realm that mirrors the giants' untamed and formidable nature. On that day, when Thor and Loki journeyed to Jotunheim, they crossed Ifing, the river that never freezes, the boundary between the land of men and the realm of giants. Prose Edda. Gylfaginning. Jotunheim is divided into several regions, each with its own unique geography and inhabitants. Some of the most notable regions include Utgard, the outermost part of Jotunheim, where the mighty giant Utgard Loki reigns, and Thrymheim, the home of the frost giants, with its icy expanses and cold winds. Each area of Jotunheim is fraught with danger, reflecting the giants' chaotic and often malevolent influence on the world. The inhabitants. The giants of Jotunheim come in many forms, from the elemental frost giants and fire giants to the more human-like rock giants. They are often depicted as enemies of the gods, particularly of Thor, who is their chief adversary. Despite their antagonistic roles, the giants are also seen as essential to the balance of the cosmos, embodying the necessary forces of destruction and chaos. One of the most famous giants of Jotunheim is Thrym, the king of the frost giants. In the poem Thrymskvida from the Poetic Edda, Thrym steals Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, and demands the goddess Freya as his bride in exchange for its return. This tale not only highlights the cunning and strength of the giants, but also their role in the mythological narrative as both challengers and integral parts of the cosmic balance. When the gods were most concerned, Thor's hammer was missing. Thrym, the lord of the giants, had taken it and hidden it 8 leagues beneath the earth. Poetic Edda, Thrymskvida. Another prominent figure is Utgard Loki, a cunning and powerful giant who rules over the outermost fortress in Jotunheim. In the story recounted in the Prose Edda, Thor and his companions visit Utgard Loki, only to be deceived and bested in a series of challenges that reveal the giant's intelligence and cunning. Utgard Loki welcomed Thor and his companions into his hall and set before them challenges that tested their strength and wits, revealing that even the mighty Thor could be humbled by the tricks of the giants. Prose Edda. Gylfaginning. The role of Jotunheim in Norse mythology. Jotunheim serves as a constant reminder of the chaos and wildness that exist beyond the orderly realms of the gods. It is a place where the boundaries of civilization break down and the raw forces of nature reign supreme. The giants, with their immense strength and connection to the elemental forces, represent the untamed aspects of the world that the gods must continually strive to control. Despite their frequent clashes with the gods, the giants are also portrayed as having a complex relationship with them. They are not merely adversaries, but are also involved in the creation and ongoing maintenance of the cosmos. For instance, the giant Ymir, whose body was used to create the world, is a primordial figure whose existence underscores the deep connection between the giants and the very fabric of reality. In the beginning, there was only Ginnungagap, the yawning void. From the melting ice emerged Ymir, the first of the giants, whose body the gods used to shape the world. Prose Edda, Gylfaginning. This duality is further explored in the myth of the giantess Skadi, who marries the god Njord as part of a truce. Skadi's story highlights how the giants and gods, despite their conflicts, are deeply interconnected and essential to the Norse understanding of the world. Skadi, clad in armor and wielding her bow, came to Asgard to seek vengeance for her father's death, but instead of bloodshed, a marriage was brokered, and Skadi became part of the gods' world. Prose Edda, Gylfaginning. Klunheim, with its towering mountains and dense forests, represents the wild, untamed forces that contrast with the order and civilization of Asgard. The giants who inhabit this realm are more than mere antagonists. They are essential players in the mythological narrative, embodying the necessary chaos that ensures the balance of the cosmos. Through their interactions with the gods, the giants highlight the complex interplay between order and chaos, creation and destruction, which lies at the heart of Norse mythology. 2. The origin of the mountains. In Germanic and Norse mythology, the rugged and dramatic features of the natural landscape are often attributed to the actions and presence of giants, known as j.r.r. These ancient beings, embodiments of primal forces and chaos, were believed to have played a significant role in shaping the earth itself. Myths from these traditions explain the creation of mountains and valleys, as well as the formation of rivers and streams, through captivating tales that highlight the giants' influence on the natural world. The giants' footprints and creation of the landscape. According to Germanic legends, the uneven surface of the earth was formed by the giants who roamed it during the time of creation. As these colossal beings traversed the freshly formed and still malleable earth, their massive footprints left deep impressions, which eventually became the valleys and hills we see today. The weight and size of these giants were so immense that their very presence marred the smoothness of the young earth, giving rise to its varied topography. In these legends, the giantesses, wives of the giants, also played a role in shaping the land. Overwhelmed with sorrow at the sight of their husbands' deep imprints on the earth, they shed copious tears. These tears flowed into the depressions created by the giants' feet, forming streams and rivers that wove through the landscape. The giants and the mountains. The idea that giants were responsible for the formation of mountains is a recurring theme in Northern European folklore. In the cold, mountainous regions of Scandinavia, people believed that the giants, or j.r.r, personified the mountains themselves. These towering beings were thought to dwell in the high peaks and were seen as inseparable from the mountains they inhabited. The Scandinavian belief system even linked the word for high, snow-covered peaks, jökull, to the word jötun, meaning giant. In the high north, where mountains reach towards the sky, the peaks are known as jökull, a word that ties back to the j.r.r, or giants. These peaks are seen as the very essence of the giants, standing tall and mighty. This belief was particularly strong in Iceland, where the term jökull, glacier, directly connects to the concept of giants. The highest and most formidable peaks in Iceland are still referred to by this term, suggesting that even the land's geography speaks of its mythic past. Giants in modern folklore. Even today, remnants of these ancient beliefs persist in the folklore of European countries. In Switzerland, for instance, the lofty peaks covered in perpetual snow are often associated with giants. Local tales recount the time when these colossal beings purportedly roamed the earth. When avalanches cascade down the mountainsides, it is said that the giants are shaking off part of their icy burdens from their brows and shoulders. When the snows come tumbling down in mighty avalanches, the people say the giants who rest beneath the snow and rock have stirred, shaking off part of their icy cloaks. Similarly, in the Riesengebirge, or Giant Mountains of Germany, the name itself echoes the enduring legacy of giants in local folklore. These mountains were believed to be the abode of giants, who could only move about in darkness or fog and were said to turn to stone when touched by the first rays of sunlight. In the Giant Mountains, the Riesengebirge, it was believed that giants roamed freely in the dark and foggy mists, but as soon as the sunlight touched them, they were turned to stone, becoming part of the mountains themselves. Conclusion. The legends of giants in Germanic and Scandinavian folklore provide a captivating explanation for the formation of the Earth's varied landscape. Through their colossal presence and actions, the giants left an indelible mark on the natural world, shaping mountains, valleys, and rivers that continue to define the land. These myths not only offer a glimpse into the cultural imagination of ancient peoples, but also connect us to a time when the natural world was viewed as a living, breathing entity shaped by the deeds of primordial beings. 3. The first gods, origins of the giants. In Norse mythology, the giants, known as j.r.r, were ancient beings deeply connected to the elemental forces of nature. They trace their lineage back to Frjotnir, also identified with Ymir, the primeval giant whose body formed the basis of the world. According to myth, Frjotnir had three notable sons who embodied fundamental aspects of nature: Hlur, sea; Kari, air; and Loki, fire. These three beings constituted the earliest trinity, regarded as the first gods and progenitors of various giant races and creatures across the cosmos. Descendants and offspring. The lineage of Frjotnir's sons gave rise to a diverse array of beings, each representing their elemental origins. Hlur, sea. Sometimes referred to as a gear, Hlur was associated with the vast oceans and seas. He fathered sea giants such as Mimir, Gymir, and Grendel, figures prominent in Norse mythology for their roles in sea-related sagas and myths. Kari, air. Personifying the air and winds, Kari fathered storm giants like Thiassi, Thrym, and Beli. These giants were portrayed as powerful entities capable of harnessing the forces of nature in formidable ways. Loki. Loki, renowned as the cunning trickster in Norse mythology, embodied the element of fire. His offspring included monstrous beings like the Fenris wolf, destined to play pivotal roles in Ragnarok, the prophesied final battle of the gods, and Hel, ruler of the realm of the dead. Cultural and historical influence. The concept of giant ancestry extended beyond mythology into historical narratives and claims to royal lineage. For example, the Merovingian kings of the Franks traced their lineage to a sea giant who emerged from the waves in the form of an ox, marrying a queen and giving birth to Merovius, progenitor of their royal dynasty. Giants in later mythology and folklore. Even after the rise of Christianity, giants remained prominent figures in Northern European myths and fairy tales. They were often depicted as adversaries to Christian symbols and practices, reflecting broader cultural tensions between pagan beliefs and the Christian order. Conclusion. The giants of Norse mythology, descending from the primal giant Frjotnir, embodied the elemental forces that shaped the mythic world. Their descendants, spanning sea, storm, and fire giants, populated the rich tapestry of Norse mythology, influencing ancient beliefs and enduring in later folklore traditions across Europe. 4. The legend of Torghatten, the giant in love. In the rich folklore of Scandinavia, particularly associated with the island of Sengen, a captivating tale unfolds, the legend of Senjamand, a giant whose unrequited love led to enduring natural wonders. The giant's unrequited love. Senjamand, a towering giant residing on the island of Sengen, fell deeply in love with a maiden named Juturna-Gesta. Despite his affection, she spurned his advances, finding him too old and unattractive for her liking. Enraged by her rejection, Senjamand vowed vengeance upon her and all who surrounded her. The fateful arrow. In a fit of fury, Senjamand unleashed a colossal flint arrow aimed at Juturna-Gesta, who lived on the distant island of Grypto, approximately 80 miles away. The arrow, propelled with immense force, posed a mortal threat to the maiden. Torg's heroic intervention. To protect Juturna-Gesta from the deadly arrow, another giant named Torg intervened heroically. Torg hurled his enormous hat 1,000 feet high and equally vast in width to intercept the hurtling projectile. Astonishingly, the arrow pierced through Torg's hat, narrowly missing its intended target, but leaving a significant mark. The transformation and legacy. Recognizing his failure and fearing Torg's potential retaliation, Senjamand attempted a desperate escape on horseback. However, at that precise moment, the sun crested above the horizon, casting its transformative rays upon Senjamand, his steed, and the arrow. Instantly turned to stone, they metamorphosed into what is now known as Torghatten Mountain, a remarkable landmark renowned for its distinctive features. Stone arrow, an upright obelisk believed to be the petrified form of the arrow itself. Hole in the mountain, a prominent opening measuring 289 feet in height and 88 feet in width, said to be the puncture created by the arrow passing through Torg's colossal hat. Senjamand's statue, a natural formation resembling a horseman on Sengen Island, depicted as riding a monumental steed draped in a broad cloak. Conclusion. The legend of Torghatten weaves together themes of love, vengeance, and transformation, resonating through the geological features and local beliefs of the region. It stands as a testament to the enduring power of mythology in explaining natural phenomena and captivating the imaginations of generations, reinforcing the connection between folklore and the landscapes that inspire it. 5. Legends of the giants, impact and superstitions. In Northern European folklore, giants are often central to stories that explain natural phenomena and convey cultural values. These tales, passed down through generations, showcase the immense power of giants and their profound impact on the world around them. The giant's wrath and church bells. One enduring legend tells of a mountain giant who was disturbed by the distant peal of church bells echoing over 50 miles away. Irritated by the sound, the giant hurled a massive rock towards the church, attempting to silence the bells. The rock fell short and split into two upon hitting the ground. According to local lore, on Christmas Eve, trolls, who are often linked to giants in folklore, gather at the site. They lift the larger piece of the rock onto golden pillars and revel beneath it, dancing and feasting through the night. Hashed, the lady's curiosity and the troll's horn. In another tale, a lady intrigued by the stories of trolls sent her groom to investigate the site where they were said to gather. When he arrived, the trolls appeared and, in a gesture of strange hospitality, offered him a drink from a horn adorned with gold and intricate runes. Instead of drinking, the groom snatched the horn and fled on his horse. The trolls gave chase, but he managed to escape by riding through a stubble field and across running water, both believed to be impassable barriers for trolls, according to local superstitions. The curse and protective measures. Although the groom successfully escaped with the horn, the trolls were not ready to give up. They came to the lady's residence the following day, demanding the return of their prized horn. When she refused, they cursed her castle, proclaiming it would burn down whenever the horn was taken from its grounds. This curse seemed to hold true, as the castle reportedly caught fire and burned down 3 times whenever the horn was removed, reinforcing the belief in the trolls' mystical powers and the significance of adhering to their demands. The giants' movements and landscape formation. Giants in folklore were not only figures of immense power, but also movers of the earth itself. Their movements were thought to shape the very landscape. Legends attribute the creation of sandhills in northern Germany and Denmark to the giants' activities. As these colossal beings traveled across the land, they were said to drop great masses of earth and sand, leaving behind hills and mounds that dotted the countryside. Conclusion. These legends of giants are more than mere tales. They are reflections of the deep-seated beliefs and superstitions of Northern European cultures. Giants, with their extraordinary abilities and interactions with humans, were seen as forces of nature, whose actions explained the creation of natural formations and warned against meddling with the unseen powers of the world. These stories not only entertain, but also provide valuable insights into how ancient societies understood and related to their environment. By intertwining mythological elements with geographic features and human experiences, these legends have woven a rich tapestry of cultural heritage that continues to influence local traditions and narratives today. 6. Ahoy there, mateys, boomed Harold, his voice reverberating across the vast deck of the Mythical, a ship of legendary proportions that dwarfed even the greatest vessels known to man. This colossal ship, said to be a veritable floating fortress, was the domain of giants. Its legend told of a captain who patrolled the deck on horseback and of sailors who aged into elders amid its towering rigging. Harold, a seasoned giant with a bushy red beard and a booming laugh, steered the Mythical through the endless expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. His command over the ship was as legendary as the ship itself. However, even the greatest captains can falter. On one fateful journey, a navigational error led them astray. Anxious to return to familiar waters, Harold decided to take a perilous shortcut through the treacherous confines of the North Sea. As the Mythical approached the narrow channel, a murmur of unease rippled through the crew. The familiar vastness of the ocean gave way to suffocatingly close shores, and the mighty Mythical seemed like a trapped behemoth, its massive hull scraping against unseen rocks beneath the surface. Panic threatened to engulf the deck as the ship's progress slowed to a crawl. But Harold, ever the resourceful and indomitable captain, roared a command above the rising fear. "Soap! Lather the starboard side with all your might. We need every inch of clearance those cliffs of Dover can give us." The crew, giants themselves, scrambled to obey. They worked frantically, their calloused hands slicking the immense hull with a thick layer of soap. With each stroke, they poured their hopes and fears into the task, knowing that their very survival depended on their efforts. As the Manigfool inched forward, the white cliffs of Dover loomed ominously closer, like the jaws of a great beast ready to swallow them whole. The crew held their breath as the ship brushed against the cliffs. The sickening sound of scraping echoed through the air as a thick layer of soap and some of the ship's hull were left behind on the rocks. The cliffs, now gleaming in unnatural white, stood as a testament to the giant ship's harrowing journey. The foamy waves that lapped against them bore witness to the frantic scrubbing that had saved them from destruction. Emerging from the narrow channel, battered but unbroken, the Manigfool sailed on. Tales of their daring voyage spread far and wide, adding to the ship's already legendary status. The legend of the Manigfool didn't end there. On another voyage, the mighty ship ventured into the uncharted waters of the Baltic Sea, an area known for its treacherous shallows. The ship became entangled in the sandy shoals. Its massive bulk threatened to be stuck forever in the grasp of the sea. In a desperate bid to lighten the load and free the ship, Harald ordered the crew to jettison a massive amount of ballast. Giant boulders and stones, larger than houses, were cast overboard. According to the tales, these discarded stones did not sink into the depths, but instead transformed into the islands of Bornholm and Christiansø, standing as permanent markers of the Manigfool's passage. Conclusion. The legends of the Manigfool, the giant ship, intertwine themes of adventure, ingenuity, and the indomitable spirit of the giants. The daring voyage through the Dover cliffs and the creation of new lands in the Baltic Sea are etched into the annals of maritime lore, serving as a testament to the enduring power of these mythical giants. These stories continue to captivate the imagination, providing a window into a time when the seas were navigated by giants and the natural world was a stage for their incredible feats. Nabshur 7. The Bewitching Princess Ilse and the Curse of Love. In the ancient heart of Thuringia, where the rugged peaks of the Harz Mountains rise majestically and dense forests murmur tales of old, the legend of Princess Ilse, the bewitching daughter of the Ilsenstein giant, captures the imagination of all who hear it. The Enchanting Princess. Princess Ilse, known far and wide as the Beautiful, was renowned for her unparalleled charm and grace. Her beauty was said to rival the brilliance of the stars, drawing knights and noblemen from distant lands to seek her hand in marriage. Despite the attention of many, her heart was devoted to one, the noble lord of Westerberg. Their love was a radiant beacon, a bright flame in the rugged, unforgiving landscape of Thuringia. The Giant's Wrath. However, their love story was not without its dark shadow. Ilse's father, the formidable Ilsenstein giant, was as cold and unyielding as the mountain crags he called home. He scoffed at the notion of his daughter, a creature of legendary beauty and strength, being joined with a mere mortal. The giant's pride could not endure the thought of his bloodline mingling with that of a human. Enraged and feeling betrayed by Ilse's defiance, he forbade her from seeing the Lord of Westerberg. His voice, like thunder, rumbled through the valleys, a stark command echoing through the landscape. But Princess Ilse, possessed of a spirit as fiery as her beauty, continued to meet her beloved in secret, their love undeterred by the giant's tyrannical decree. The creation of the chasm. Determined to put an end to their love, the giant's fury grew. In a fit of rage, he reached across the land with his colossal hands, his fingers tearing into the earth as though it were mere clay. With a roar that shook the heavens, he created a vast chasm between his mountaintop dwelling and the Westerberg castle, a gaping divide meant to forever separate the lovers. Faced with this insurmountable obstacle, Princess Ilse found herself at a heartbreaking crossroads. Her spirit, though strong, was now tested by the cruel twist of fate and her father's relentless opposition. Standing on the edge of the precipice, she gazed into the turbulent waters below, the river's swift current, a beckoning escape from her father's oppression and the sorrow of separation from her love. Transformation into an Undine. In an act of desperate love and defiance, Ilse cast herself into the raging torrent. Her cries of anguish echoed through the valley, a poignant and mournful song carried by the wind. Yet instead of meeting her end in the churning waters, she was transformed by the magic of the land into an undine, a water nymph bound to the crystal-clear waters of the stream. For many years, Princess Ilse remained in the cool embrace of the stream, her ethereal beauty undiminished by time. Occasionally, she would rise from the waters, her voice as soft and captivating as the murmuring flow, enchanting those who wandered near. Legends even tell of the mighty Emperor Henry succumbing to her spell, drawn to the captivating allure of her watery domain. The legend endures. The last recorded sighting of Princess Ilse was said to have occurred a century ago on the Christian festival of Pentecost. To this day, the people of Thuringia hold on to the belief that she still dwells in the stream, her fair arms occasionally appearing amidst the waterfall's spray, beckoning to those who might be tempted to join her in her watery realm. The sound of the cascading water, locals say, is imbued with her voice, a timeless lament of a love that defied the might of giants and etched its own enduring path in the annals of legend. The haunting melody of the falls continues to echo her story, a tale of beauty, love, and defiance that remains an integral part of Thuringia's rich tapestry of folklore. j.r.r. 8. The Giantess's Plaything. Long before mankind laid claim to the earth, giants roamed freely as its first inhabitants. Towering and powerful, they were the rulers of all they surveyed. However, as time passed, these mighty beings saw their dominion gradually usurped by the rise of humankind. Resigned to their fate, the giants withdrew to the remote, desolate corners of the world, raising their children far from the burgeoning human civilizations. In one of these secluded realms, a young giantess named Alvida grew up, sheltered and unaware of the ever-changing world beyond her home. Curious and adventurous, she often wandered far from her father's domain, exploring the vast landscapes that stretched endlessly before her. One day, during one of her explorations, Alvida stumbled upon a lush, inhabited valley, a sight she had never seen before. Her eyes, wide with wonder, fell upon a farmer diligently plowing the hillside with his team of sturdy horses. To her naive mind, accustomed only to the solitude of the giant's world, this scene was the most fascinating and peculiar toy imaginable. With a mischievous grin, she swooped down, scooping up the farmer, his horses, and his plow in her enormous hands, bundling them into her apron as if they were a cherished prize. Delighted with her discovery, Alvida hurried home, eager to show her father the remarkable plaything she had found. "Father, look!" she exclaimed, her voice echoing through their cavernous home. "I found the most curious toy in the valley. Isn't it wonderful?" Her father, Ymir, a wise and ancient giant with a heart burdened by the knowledge of ages, looked at her with a mixture of sorrow and understanding. He gently took the farmer and his team from her apron, gazing at the tiny, trembling figures in his massive palm. "My dear Alvida," Ymir began, his voice heavy with a sadness she did not yet comprehend, "these are not toys. They are humans, small and fragile, yes, but they are the future of this world." Alvida's face fell, confusion clouding her innocent eyes. "But they are so tiny and weak," she protested. "How can they be the future?" Ymir sighed deeply and knelt before her, bringing himself closer to her level. "Once, we giants were the rulers of this earth," he explained. "We shaped the mountains and carved the valleys. But the world is changing, and with it, the balance of power. These humans, though they seem insignificant now, will grow and multiply. They will build cities and kingdoms, and their influence will spread across the land. We giants, my dear, are destined to become the stories and myths of their future." Seeing the tears welling up in her eyes, Ymir added, "We must return them to where they belong. To them, we are the stuff of nightmares and legends. Their place is not here with us." Reluctantly, Alvida followed her father back to the valley, where they carefully returned the farmer, his horses, and his plow to the very spot from which she had taken them. The farmer, bewildered and awestruck, gazed up at the towering figures with a mixture of fear and gratitude, unaware of the profound shift his brief encounter had signified. As they walked back home, Ymir's voice broke the silence. "This world will always remember us, Alvida. In their stories and their fears, we will live on. But our time as rulers has passed. We must learn to coexist with these new beings and find peace in our new role in the shadows of their world." The encounter left Alvida with a heavy heart and a newfound understanding of the fragile balance between power and change. The giants, once the masters of the earth, were now retreating into the realm of legend, their presence lingering only in the edges of human memory. In the years that followed, Alvida would often look out over the valleys, watching the tiny figures of humans moving below. She would remember her father's words and the day she learned the hard truth of their destiny. The giants' era of dominion had ended, but in their hearts and in the myths of humankind, they would remain forever. Conclusion. The tale of Alvida and the farmer encapsulates the poignant transition from a world dominated by giants to one where humans began to assert their dominance. It serves as a timeless reminder of how the balance of power shifts and evolves, often leaving behind those who once ruled unchallenged. In this legend, the giantess's innocent play highlights the bittersweet reality of a fading era where the great and powerful must make way for the small and determined.